After a very rainy spring, we have now started into the summer months with lots of sun, lots of dryness. It is unusually dry, but we also got to harvest our very first blueberries here, even though there were just two of them and they were very, very sour, but I'm still counting it as a success. And our garden is blooming and blossoming, and I'm just so happy with how it looks like, despite it being so much work, but it is worth it. I can't wait to eat all of those tomatoes when they're ripe.
Hi, Amorinha. Hello. Are you the banana cat? Or the grass weed cat, I should say. So pretty under the banana.
If there are any passion fruit experts out there, our passion fruit plant has been pretty sick recently and we don't really know why. This is how the fruits look like. They still produce a delicious inside, so they still taste good, but if anybody knows what could be wrong with them, please let us know. While we mostly were busy with gardening for the last couple of weeks, there was also a little house project that we got started on, and that is the back of the house, which, as you can see, has become very, very messy over the 2 years of renovating, as we just dumped everything that we thought we maybe could use again, just dumped it in the back, and yeah, it just became a mess. So I cleaned it up, and then we broke down that wall that you can see here to make more space, so we can then put in a floor where there is now all of this earth. We first need to straighten it out, of course, but yeah, that's gonna be the task for the next couple of weeks, is to get this into a space that is actually useful and not just a garbage dump that tells the story of renovation. And this wall was so much sturdier than we thought it was gonna be. We thought this would be like a very quick toss over, but as you can see, my partner had to work really, really hard to break it apart, which was kind of a surprise, but he got it done. Thank you again. Yeah, now the wall is gone.
Tess, the inspector is inspecting your work. What do you say, Tess? Do you approve? Oh! Do you approve of Papa's work?
So as you can see, the back of the house is still a mess. We haven't really found a lot of time to work on the house this year because there was just so much work to be done in the garden. I didn't get to show everything that we've done, but it all took a lot of time, and then plus, you know, work and that kind of stuff, because we still need to earn money, right? And my mother came for a visit, and a friend of mine came to visit, and all of these kind of things just accumulated. And even though the weather has been great, we haven't been really able to work a ton in the house, which makes all of this process like very slow. This has been going on already for, I think, a few weeks now, and and it still looks like this. There's also the additional thing that I'm still banned from lifting heavy weights since my surgery in the beginning of the year. So for example, a lava rock like this, I can't even show you how big it is. They are very heavy too, because we have different types of lava on the island, and some of it is super lightweight when it has like a lot of air and stuff inside. But then you have things like this one, and they're just so dense. They're so heavy because there's not a single air bubble in this massive rock. Instead, there's like tons of minerals, and they're just very heavy. So I cannot lift them anywhere. Oh, hello, Tess. I cannot lift them. I'm still banned from that kind of stuff. I am training to get back to that. Like I'm doing some exercises, and I've been doing my stretches to gain that back, but the doctor said like throughout the entire year I shouldn't be doing anything extreme, so I'm not doing it. And it's frustrating because I know I do have the muscles for it, I'm just not allowed to do it. Are you coming to say hi? That's very nice of you. He's such a big boy. They had all their vaccines now, and they're happy and healthy. They just eat too many lizards that they then vomit out. Again, because they're not supposed to eat lizards. It's bad for them, but we can't stop them. The only solution would be to lock them inside, but that would be cruel because they love to be outside. Anyway, back to the mess behind me. Additionally, our contractor was supposed to come back in May. We now have July. And it's not on the horizon if and when he's gonna come back. And the thing is, we need good weather to work, because a lot of what we need to do this year is in this outside space and on the other side as well, like things like making a floor where there's now a lot of greenery growing. But this we will try to do partially ourselves, I think. But we need to like do the hard labor first of cleaning this stuff up, which is hard to do alone. And also it's currently clearly a playground. Also, for those of you who don't know, up there is what we call the Pizza Hut, which is the old outside toilet that was used before they, very later on, when they renovated the house, they installed like a toilet in the bathroom. And before that, people had to go out here to do their business, and we actually also had to use it in the beginning of the renovation. And we call it the Pizza Hut because in the very first time that we had to use it, I was like, I don't want to sit down on like that old wood, and it's like dirty and whatever. And we had like still the lid of a pizza box, so we made like a toilet seat out of a pizza box lid, and that's why it's called the Pizza Hut. And it actually has it written on the door as well. So anyway, it is a very, very small space, but it is currently holding like most of our like gardening stuff. And the problem is that the floor is above a hole. Like, I don't know if you can, I'm sitting right in front of it, am I not? So as you can see, this here is like high up, and this is the entry to the Pizza Hut. And as you can see here, there's a hole, and that goes all the way under the Pizza Hut. Because this whole area here used to probably be like a pig place, like a place for a pig or something like that, or maybe a dog, or we don't really know what exactly was held here. Maybe chickens, we have no idea. Probably some kind of animal, because there's like a water place, and there was this wall, and there's like metal wires sticking out where you could like bind a rope or something like that. So it had like this little cave there where the animal could go underneath the Pizza Hut to be protected from the rain. And now the wood that is the floor of the Pizza Hut is really old, so we need to replace that, and we of course want to fill up the bottom of the hole. Originally, our original idea was to take out this entire space here, all the stairs, that entire thing, and like expand it downward, but that is honestly just too much work, because they are all made of these massive lava stones that are just really hard to move around, especially now that I'm not allowed to lift these kind of weights anymore. And it's like, what do we do with them? Like, we have no place for them to go. And I know people keep saying, oh, you can sell them, but like, we've asked around and nobody wants them. So because like there's more than enough lava stones on this island. So instead, what we've now decided on doing is that we are gonna leave it here. We're gonna fill up the hole. We're gonna make a new floor of the Pizza Hut. And in the back, you see the wall there? There's a small space behind that. We don't know what it was for. It was just a hole, really. And we've now filled it up with gravel, and I'm gonna put like some of that gravel that is still here also there. And we're gonna make a cement base on top as well, so it's like even with the wall. And that's where our barbecue place is gonna go. It was supposed to go here on the side of the house, where the stairs are now, here. But now it's gonna go up there. So we've changed plans, but we're still like very much like discussing everything, and that's another thing that's like slowing us down practically. So even though I haven't been working out here as much as I would like I still need to even all of that earth out, because the greenery is like on top of earth, and oh god, it's so many things to do, you know, that sometimes you just don't even want to start because there's just so much to do. Every time I am out here working, I keep thinking about a passage that I read in a book that I wanted to start. Side note, I'm also currently editing my own memoir, Azores story book that I want to send to German agencies. It's in German. And that also makes me, of course, much more reflective, because it tells the whole story, how I ended up on the Azores. So yeah, that might have also contributed to me thinking about it a lot. I'm gonna put the cover here. It's unfortunately only available in German. It is a non-fiction book about two sisters who slow travel through Europe and then the Americas to explore different sustainable living communities, like alternative communities. I've only read the first chapter because, again, I'm in the worst reading slump I think I've ever had in my life. I can't read. I don't have the capacity for it. But I've tried to pick this up, and in the first chapter they talk about like how we kind of have lost our connection to the world around us because we are not engaging with it at all anymore. Like, we don't know how our appliances work because we have someone else installing them for us, and if they break, we throw them away, we don't fix them. When we eat bread, we've bought it at the store. Nobody has done it by hand. If we eat jam, it's bought jam. It's not picked fruits with sugar, boiled on a pot, and then like canned, and all of these kind of things, right? And of course, that's not everybody. There have always been people who are not like that and who have maintained that connection. That's what the whole book is about. But and not only those communities, also of course regular individual people, but in general, in a lot of areas of our lives, we've really lost the connection and the sun has something to say. So in a lot of cases, we've just lost that connection, and therefore also things lose their meaning. Like the bread doesn't have a story to tell of who made it and why, and the labor that went into it, and the houses that we live in. Nowadays, a lot of houses that are being built are like those ready houses that you just get delivered and they just glue them together and boom, 1 week later you have a house. Like, where's the story in that, right? And there's nothing, I'm not against these kind of things, because convenience is a nice thing to have, but I do agree that we are just missing the history in things and the connection to things, and that is like one of the main reasons why we feel so lost all the time, because we are not connected to the world around us and to the people around us anymore because of things like that. And that made me feel a lot better about our renovation process, because now that it's been a year that we've been living here, it's really catching up to me how hard it truly was. And I know I've complained a lot about on this channel about it, but again, like, you guys didn't even know half of it. It was the worst and hardest 2 years of my life on so many levels. I can't even start to explain it to you guys. So I've been like really trying to balance it out again, because while I was in the moment, I still had that drive of like, we need to get it done, and like, why am I doing this, and like pushing myself forward because of it. But now that we live here and I just reflect back on it, like, a lot of the harshness remains. Thinking about these things differently now, it doesn't take away that it was hard, because it's okay for things to be hard. That's another thing. Like, it's okay for things to be hard, right? Not everything has to be easy. Not everything that is good comes easy. It doesn't. That's not reality, right? And it's okay that it was hard, and it is okay that there were things that I wish didn't happen the way they did, or, you know, like, it's okay. That's fine. But also the connection I have to this house and to every millimeter of it, because I did everything by myself with my partner and some help, but like, we've touched every rock in this house, except for like the stuff that's like inside the outside walls, right? We've touched every rock, we've touched every piece of furniture, we've touched everything, and we've worked with everything, and we have such a deep connection to it all. Is it sometimes tainted by a bit of negativity? Sure. Again, I think it's very normal, but it is a story to tell. You could point at any random spot in our house or in our garden, and I would have a story to tell you about that. And I love that. As someone who is an author and who is a storyteller, that is so precious to me. And as someone who has been seeking a feeling of connection and community, it is very precious to me that I do have a relationship with the home that I live in. That is not just some random walls with some random pieces of furniture that look pretty but have no meaning. No, I can tell you a story about every little corner of the house. And of course, if you live in a house for very long, it's the same thing, right? Even if you didn't build it, even if you didn't renovate it. If, like, that's why so many people are attached to their childhood homes, because they could also point at every corner and tell you a story about it. But yeah, like, we've only been living here for a year, and I can still do it because of that renovation process that we had. And I think that's amazing. I think that's very amazing. I am actually in contact with one of the previous owners of the house, and she keeps on telling me all of these stories from the time when this was theirs and when this was their summer home, and how she spent her honeymoon here when she married into the family that owned this house, and all of these kind of stories, right? And it just adds up to the history of this house, because it is a very old house that was in one family for most of its time, and only now with us is it in the hands of a new family. And that's, I don't know, that's so precious. I feel like we're so often, especially when it comes to homes and houses, we're so concerned with like the resale value of like everything needs to be like streamlined and beautiful and gray and white and black. And not only, of course, but like we're afraid to use color in our homes. We are afraid to like actually let something happen into our homes, because we're worried about things like resale value and all of these things. But like, how much more precious is it to have all these stories to tell? Like, how, like, this house, no matter how much it would be worth financially at the moment, it is worth so much more because of all the stories I have to tell about it. And to me, it is invaluable. It is my home. So, yeah, with that being said, there's still a lot to get done for this home to turn out into something more comfortable. So, I'm gonna get going. But I wish you all a wonderful day. Saying lots of love. See you soon. Bye.